Before I begin, I'm sure you're all wondering who Galarian Milteg is, and why Dux thought it so important that you meet me. You all would know me from stories told by your elders. My true name is Malt, or you may know me as High General Malt, the War Minister of King Hadrock Caldwell.
But how can that be? That all happened over 60 years ago. You should be dead by now.
Well, Edmund, my young friend, I am immortal. My story begins more than 1,000 years ago, in a different galaxy, and although I'm eager to tell that story, it's not the pressing matter at the moment. What you need to know for now is I went into hiding after Hadrock's death. I saw the writing on the wall for our kingdom. We were heading towards defeat from the beginning. Through my many years on this planet, I knew of some of the connections Haunt leaders had with those in the Grand Council, and connections within our own kingdom. I needed to go into hiding to preserve what I knew, that I may guide future generations to rebuilding the Templar kingdoms. You see, although we are being pushed towards extermination, there is another war being fought here, one about power over the entire planet, and who will lead and rule. But that's enough for this evening. You must still be wary after your long travels. I'll show you to your rooms now. We will continue your training tomorrow, Ryo. And to not disappoint the two of you, Danders and Edmund, there will be much for you two to learn while here as well. Now sleep. The fate of our kingdom rests with you.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, back to the 15th episode of the Medieval Rimworld series. I should note that our cutscene from the beginning of the episode today will continue in a future episode. There's much more to learn about this mysterious High General Malt. But for now, as our group are on their way back from Galarian Milteg's lair, a crush has formed for Carson. It seems that he really likes Nia. Now, it's a little problematic since he's only 5 chronological years old, and even with accelerated Rimworld time, he's still only 17, and I feel like the age gap is a little bit too big with her being 23. So we're going to tell him that this is just an illusion. But on to more important news, our massive group has returned to Morgan's Hold, so Ahsoka can now be put to rest properly. When our smaller group would return a couple of days later, Edmund would visit the coffin that she lay in, praying for her before a great funeral was held in her honour, allowing all of our colonists the time to grieve. This was really our first death of a long-term colonist, so I imagine it's quite hard on everybody in the colony. To make things better though, the funeral went quite well. I think it must have given people the proper time they needed to grieve her loss. What may also help is that Ryo commissioned the creation of a crypt for Ahsoka, as well as Jalise and any other colonists who may die in battle or of old age, having our Stone Digger Dryads make quick work digging out an area southwest of the cathedral. We'd also look into the catacombs research so we can decorate this area appropriately. We'd finish this research quite quick, and we'll come back to it a bit later when the catacombs are ready. With so many of our colonists here at the moment from the outposts, we had managed to pack out our hospital area, using it as a temporary barracks while they're staying here. However, since we have so many good workers around, we figured this was a great time to fit it out with some dividers, medical storage, and all the other hospital needs that our people might want. But once all that construction was complete, we would head next door, setting up the apothecary/medicine maker room where we'll produce all of our medical herbal extracts, adding in storage and extra tables to boost our productivity. I'm so happy that we're finally making some progress on the castle, and it seems our colonists feel the same way, hosting a party in this new room. It's a strange place to host a party, but who am I to judge? It also seems that in the partying, Kryos got a little drunk. Actually, not just drunk, like blackout drunk. This dragon is certainly an interesting one. Firstly, she eats Larry a few episodes ago, now she gets drunk on wine. I'm really not sure what to do with her. It seems perhaps the alcohol from the party had had some other bad side effects. It may have been what caused the rift between Bjorn and Delilah, who have now broken up. And speaking of splitting, we'll be splitting up the outpost members as we send them back off, with the group in the top left, led by Makion, forming a new farming outpost, the group on their right, led by Sindor, starting up a hunting/ranching outpost, and the group led by Chud returning to the mining outpost. I'm glad that as they leave, they got a nice party and got to spend some time with everybody here at the main base. We have so much respect for these guys for saving us and for all the great work that they do in their outposts. But now, a quick meeting between Mart and Ryo.
I heard you came to the rescue of our people back in Silverhearth. I want to thank you, Mart, but tell me how you knew that they were coming. You really did show up at just the right time.
No need to thank me, Ryo. I'm just disappointed we weren't able to save Ahsoka. As for how I knew, well, you can thank Califor for that. I believe she had been reading some of our correspondence and found out about the attack on Silverhearth. I heard noises coming from outside my cabin one night, and when I went around the side of the mess hall, I saw her talking to a haunt. She tried to hold me off while he attempted to escape. Of course, that was a foolish move, as I downed her and attempted to give chase to the haunt. When I caught up to him, a battle ensued, and he was dead. I suspect this wasn't the first time that she had spoken to him, and after a quick interrogation, I heard about their plans to send the barbarians to attack us in Silverhearth. I sent word to those in the other outpost, and we left the day after.
Thank you, Mart. You've done a great service to our people. I am proud to call you a Templar brother.
But back into the action, we have an attack from House Celestia, raiding in the south. This was a really big raiding party and I felt a little threatened, so I'll probably build a wall in this south area sometime soon to help with raids. But at the same time, we actually dealt with these guys reasonably easily. If you guys have any suggestions on making raids more interesting, please leave them in the comment section below. I considered using the compressed raids mod, and I even gave it a little test after the episode, but what it does is it tends to give pawns a lot of legendary gear, and although I can give them a death at Citifire, it just doesn't really work, I think, from a lore standpoint for the planet. So if you got any other ideas, I'd love to hear them. But with that raid out of the way, and the little damage done except for destroying our bridge, we return to the world map to see our groups heading out and arriving at their destinations, forming our new set of outposts that will serve our resistance into the future. We also noticed another camp to the south, but this one's not made up of humans. No, this is a group of angry Schrats, which we haven't seen any of for quite a while. Not sure how we heard about these, I suspect some travelers told us. Regardless, our group of Mart, Ernest, Danders and Duplat would be chosen to head out and investigate. And upon their arrival, there was indeed 2 angry Schrats walking around a bloody battlefield with soldiers scattered on the floor who looked to have put up quite the fight. However, we'll hopefully put up a much greater fight, running in, drawing the attention of these walking trees, using the thing they hate most, fire, and swords, which I'm not sure they hate quite as much, but were quite effective, as Mart had already taken one down, splitting it in half while Ernest's wolves had worked on the other. The dragons helped out heaps with this one too, and without too much difficulty we had defeated the beasts. Mart would search their lair, finding another bloody note like the one we've already found, and this one said, "To the General, we are laying down the fortifications in preparation for the ambush. There is a problem, however. We have lost 23 people so far to trees falling of all things. Maybe you could send the chaplain." We're accruing quite the little collection of these notes now, so we'll have to take this one back and maybe build some sort of library for them. Now, while all this was taking place, back at home we were making some big strides in the magical research tree, unlocking arcane facilities as well as cultivation, which gives us a good baseline for learning more about magical production benches and magical crops. But with all this magic being researched, I must say my favourite type of magic in this series is whatever sort of magical non-magic the Stone Digger Dryads use to dig these mountains so incredibly quickly. We got to see this again as we were finally building a proper prison here in the mountain where I've been planning to set one up for quite some time. I originally planned to use the natural stone for the cell walls, but as I began preparing the first cells, I figured since we have such an overabundance of steel at the moment, we could use that instead, which will be a little bit stronger. We'll keep working on this in the background. It looks to be progressing quite nicely. We'll also hopefully have some more prisoners later this episode. But for now, at least we'll be able to move the treacherous Califor, who we still need to work out what we're going to do with, into one of the cells. Anyway, we ended up finishing our arcane crafting research, and it looks like, even at just the anvil, we can create some new weapons and armor sets. I think in the not too distant future, we're going to have to take a closer look at some of these. But for now, we'll avert our attention to the giant manhunting pack of foxes that are attacking. Nothing really happened with them, the pylons took them out. I just thought it was kind of cool how many of them there were. It was a little bit comical, really. Continuing with today's train of research, we would work on arcane temperature regulation, which we finished quickly, putting it to good use in what will become the food storage room of the castle. And these work great. Even though I ran out of citrine for the second one, the temperature inside is already -6 after just one being built. Now, you know how earlier in the episode I said raids weren't a problem for us? Well, Rimworld is making me eat my words once again. We had a raid from the Onlastian Empire where Delilah was outside. I only realized this as I was pulling people up to defend, and before I knew it, she had been kidnapped. And while we were fighting the raid, our colony had no idea that she was gone. It wasn't until after the battle that we'd realized that she's no longer in the base. We'll need to potentially go out looking for her. On the bright side, we did take a prisoner from this raid, and he is actually a lord within the Onlastia Empire, so we may be able to use him as leverage to get Delilah back. I am, however, sad to say that in coming back after the episode, Delilah is no longer appearing as a world pawn, meaning she's probably been killed by the Onlastians. This was confirmed by Bjorn's social tab, where it shows she is in fact dead. I am really sad to see her go. We never really got a chance to build her character at all, but she will be remembered as a hero in the hearts of all of our pawns. But moving on, another comical Rimworld moment as we got our first supplies from the new farming outpost, and oh my gosh, they must have killed like 40 Roxas. The amount of meat and leather is insane in just one drop-off. And with our bellies full of Rox meat, we would turn our attention to the castle, building the new research room where Kiko and a friend can continue improving our technology. But jumping to the room over, Platt was removing one of the trees in there when he awakened another Schrat. Knowing it might kill him, he would attempt to escape but was unsuccessful. The beast would then knock down door after door trying to leave the castle, finding one of our baby dragons in the process. Thankfully, Chalcedon was nearby and he certainly saved this baby dragon's life, splitting the wooden monster, being assisted by Bronson with his pistol and Cryos, who would help him finish it off. But with that scare, we are going to finish off the episode for today. I want to thank you all for 1,000 subscribers. The support is just incredible. I want to thank each and every one of you. And as I previously mentioned, I'll be setting up a little Discord server for the small community we have. There'll be some more info about that soon. I'm still really enjoying this series, but the end is sort of coming into sight now. By the end of the next episode, we should have the castle done, and I'll put a pretty heavy focus on the magical stuff from then on out. I've also been doing a bunch of smaller research tasks in the background that I'm not mentioning so much. There's plenty of story I still want to fit into the next few episodes. I hope you're all still enjoying that side of the videos. It's a big part of why I created the channel, is I love developing these little stories. It will take a bit of a twist today, which will be explained more as we go on, but I'll let you guys see that for yourself and let me know what you guys think in the comments. But with that, I will see you all in the next episode. Goodbye.
Warning. Warning. Power failure. Warning. Warning. Power failure.
Guys, can you hear me? Are you all right in there?
Yes, Captain, we're all safe in here, but it appears the doors are stuck shut. We've hit some sort of strange magnetic field and lost all power to the ship.
Okay, this is a bad situation, but you guys should try to work together to get this door open. I'll see if I can get the other open and make our way to Lady Herring.
Roger that. We'll try our best. We need to try to make it to the engine room. It appears the ship is slowly being pulled towards this planet.